Okie dokie, we have a new Protoss player here. It is Isurus.Darkness in the top left corner of Ohana.
Dancing.
He's making some dancing with his letters and stuff and such. And SeoHeyun.LighT is the blue tearing down in the bottom right. I don't know how to say it, so I don't even really need to correct myself. SeoHeyun.
SeoHeyun.
Yep, so series is all tied up now. This is a best-of-9 series as usual, so first to 5 will win for their team and move them on into the round of 8.
All right. For some reason, we were discussing the pronunciation. I was imagining Strato's like fake Korean caster voice there.
SeoHeyun.
Numero 1, SeoHeyun.LighT.
Yeah, he just adds a U to everything. SCVU.
It's IGNProLeague. Anyway, so here we go. It's PvT time on Ohana. This is kind of a clever map for PvT. I like to go back to the example of Polt in PvT on this. So Polt really loves playing an aggressive drop style here, and it works out really well. I don't really have an indication as to what SeoHeyun's actual builds are going to be. We saw a 4 Ghost Academy ridiculous nuke build last time. Yeah. I don't think we're going to see that here. Maybe.
Well, he did start the game off with expansion denial, and I mean he started with
lots of death and destruction.
Yeah. Well, three command centers, basically holding off that huge Roach Baneling attack, and then having 3 Banshees kill a ton of workers after that was really, really nice, and as well as that 3rd hatch. Darkness confirming that SeoHeyun is indeed Korean, so he might not really have any idea what he's in store for here.
We also want to mention to you guys, of course, that the first 2 games have gone pretty long, but we have a Shootmania broadcast. It's actually starting, well, pretty much right now. So if you guys want to check that out, shootmania.ign.com. It's time for multiple screens. There's a lot of esports action going on this weekend, but we really do encourage you guys to check out Shootmania. It's our newest title. It's really awesome. We play it all the time. If you want to play it with us, we're giving away 2,000 beta keys. Head over to go.ign.com/IPLShootmania. Again, go.ign.com/IPLShootmania.
Yes, claim one of those wonderful keys and I will destroy you on the field of battle. I am better at Shootmania than I am at StarCraft 2. So if you ever want to kill me, that's the game to do it, Shootmania. But in this game, Mr. StarCraft 2, which we come to know and love, and he'll soon be changing. His face will change.
That's right. More Kerrigan-like.
Heart of the Swarm. Yes, he's going to be slightly infested. Actually, Kerrigan is recently uninfested, so
that's true.
It's going to actually look less like the new Kerrigan, but more like the old Kerrigan.
That's right.
Actually, Kerrigan is going to be a feature in Heart of the Swarm. I'm pretty sure. I've seen like some gameplay stuff like on magazines and all that, and the levels that we've seen so far, she's like leading Zerg units.
Here's where I remind everyone again that I've played like 4 missions on the campaign.
Oh
so,
my god,
yeah,
you're so lucky.
I've
Bee-boo, bee-boo. NDA, you can't talk about it. Kerrigan destroys the universe.
No. Not of Heart of the Swarm. I mean
really?
of Wings of Liberty.
Oh.
I've only played like 4 missions of Wings of Liberty.
I thought you were saying you played 4 campaign missions of Heart of the Swarm.
No. I'm not that cool.
Good. Whew.
Yeah.
My coolness rating was just like
really going down for a second.
What's going on here?
So,
it was spazzing out.
But yeah, I have not played the campaign. I know I need to. Well, the funny part was that I started playing. The campaign was the first thing I started playing when I first got StarCraft 2, and I got sucked into multiplayer after like 2 or 3 levels, and I started the campaign on normal, I believe. I don't know. So I get back after playing like a year of multiplayer. I'm like, I'm going to play a couple of missions of the campaign. Why not? Let's fire it up. And I get back into it. I resume my campaign from where it was, and I think it was still on normal. And so I'm like macroing like a boss. Yeah, I've got all these Marines, got this stuff, using multiplayer strategies, and like send out this huge force of 100 Marines in whatever I do. And there's like 15 Zerglings waiting for me.
Dude.
And I'm like, oh, God, that's
too much. What I have is it's too many.
Yes.
That's why you play on Brutal.
Yeah.
Anything less is just why even bother? I mean, storyline. If you want the storyline, you just read it like somewhere. I'm sure there's transcripts somewhere. But if you're gonna play through it, play on the hardest difficulty. That's actually how you learn a lot of cheap tactics too. Some levels can be beaten like with just a couple of Banshees and stuff like that. It's just finding out those little tricky tactics to get through Brutal.
This is a fair bit of pressure coming up from Darkness, though. He decided, oh, wow, he's really putting it on. He is expanding behind this, but he's got 3 gates in total. Is he going to be able to get through the supply depot? No, looks like the SCVs are going to be able to repair in time. And actually, Darkness losing a couple of stalkers there.
He did pick off the Marines. I mean, after he realized the repairs were going on, he started going for those targets that can't be repaired, the Marines in this case. So he did actually kill a few of those. And, you know, if that pylon had gotten up, he would have been in a great position because he would have been able to warp in on the high ground and really put on a lot of pressure like you said he would. But instead, he's going to have to back off because he lost too many stalkers and lost that pylon positioning.
Looks like he's going to take control of the Zelnaya Tower, though, but his expansion, despite the fact that it was started way after his opponent, is down a little bit quicker. Now, SeoHeyun, of course, has been using his command center to double produce SCVs for a little while, even though it's taken a temporary stop while he makes sure that he has everything in check at the moment. So, economies, it's actually a pretty good advantage for Darkness in terms of overall workers. Now, with mules, of course, the economic rates are going to be similar once SeoHeyun finally puts down his next base.
Yep, and I'm a big fan of this building placement because you can very clearly see your gateways next to your robotics facility and know exactly how many you have. I have seen some Terran players build like huge lines of production, like this is my barracks line, this is my factory line, this is my starport line, but Protoss players usually just spam gateways and robotics facilities all over the place.
Well, SeoHeyun is making his way up through the middle of the map now, and we'll see if Darkness has enough to hold this off. He does have a fair number of sentries, some pretty good energy on them as well, so Guardian Shield, a couple of force fields, and he should be able to dispatch of this, especially as it's hitting before Stim ends up, so SeoHeyun's really going to have to pick his targets wisely.
Or just run away.
That's true.
Then he doesn't have to pick any targets.
Yes.
He can just run
away. Or he can pick them stupidly as he runs away, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed about this map, Ohana, it does not have any critters on it except for Space Shark.
That's right.
And
is this the version with Space Shark? No, no Space Shark.
Why is there no Space Shark?
I don't know. Disappointed.
Wouldn't someone have to actively, consciously edit out Space Shark?
Correct.
Why?
That is a travesty. That is a travesty. Well, another couple of gateways being added here. Twilight Council coming up. This is all looking pretty normal. It's being thrown in with a few upgrades as well. With the Twilight Council right here, we'll see if this ends up becoming a some sort of like a Charge Light Archon push, because Robotics Bay hasn't been established quite yet, and Darkness obviously has plenty enough resources for that.
I'm just banking on DTs. Actually, probably not a great decision at all, but I would like seeing DTs, so I will always root for that. But right now, it looks like he's finally going to go into target picking mode and actually attack and not run away. We'll see once he gets up here. You know, obviously he's going to have time to assess the situation. He could even drop a scan before he gets up there to see what he's going to be facing off against. It's kind of weird the way scans can basically just tell your opponent, okay, there's an army coming, and people really aren't like, yes, he did drop the scan, yeah. So now Darkness is like, all right, let's get ready. I'm surprised programmers don't fake scan, like feign attacks with scan more often.
Well, Darkness obviously knows where this is happening at. Sees that army down on the low ground, getting everything in position. Everything's down. SeoHeyun could decide to move up. No, it's just going to let that Immortal pick away at the Marauder. Robotics Bay is now finally coming up, so we're going to see Colossi here momentarily. And with the Twilight Council, he was able to jump into +2 armor right away, so it's going to make those units very hardy.
Yep, and Blink is coming up for Darkness now, so not going to be Charged Light Archon to start, at least. He doesn't have a very high Stalker count, but Blink is always useful. It's a little bit more useful against giant waves of Roaches and PvZ than it is against stimmable Marauders and Marines, because blinking to the back against all these, you know, huge range units and concussive shells and stim and all that, they don't stand up quite as long as they do against Roaches.
It does let you do a couple of cool things. You can actually lead with your Stalkers to try and pick off the Medivacs, which are usually moving a little bit ahead of the army anyway, and then you can blink behind and let your Zealots still absorb most of the damage. But yeah, you're right. I mean, its utility is a little bit less in this scenario.
Yep, and Extended Thermal Lances, of course, is always useful because if you're making Colossi, you want them to shoot a lot farther so they can stay more protected behind your ground forces. And Zealot Charge is always extremely useful as well, especially in PvT because of those stemmed Marines and Marauders running away all the time. Of course, they can be kited still a little bit with concussive shells, but it takes a lot more effort to do that.
Well, SeoHeyun's pretty much been allowed to do whatever he wants now after that initial push, so he's macroing up quite well. He's got really, really nice upgrades on the way, too. They started a little bit after his opponent, but it's going to start dropping as well with a little bit of a supply lead. Going right after the robotics facility. He is going to get it, but will his army going to be able to get away?
Yeah, he definitely picks off the robotics facility quite easily there before the Colossus can come out. He's going to pick off the Cybernetics core now, which is actually a great target many people don't think about because it does prevent you from building any Stalkers or Sentries for the time being. And now his main attack is hit as well. Some force fields being dropped by Darkness, but I have to imagine that having his split forces and split attention is going to hinder him here. A couple of force fields go down. They're actually good, even though they're kind of wonky looking, because it's going to prevent the bulk of the force from just walking right up there. And man, so Darkness is actually reeling a little bit, getting attacked from two fronts there and not really being able to hold on very well.
Yeah, I mean, even though he ends up killing a few more forces that he lost, the amount of structures that went down was just staggering. I mean, no cybernetics core. The robotics facility is coming back up, but of course, he's going to want to produce some sort of sentries or stalkers at some point during this game and possibly throw down more tech structures as well. There we go. Finally, that cybernetics core coming back up. And all of this while, the third base is now finished up for SeoHeyun, so he's moving forward. His economy just continues to rocket up. He's looking really good at the moment.
Both players are paying attention to upgrades, though, which is nice, and it looks like SeoHeyun is actually starting to crank out some Vikings now that he's seen the Colossus tech and knows for sure that he should be building them. The Templar Archive coming along, though, obviously with High Templar dropping Storms instead, could make some Vikings more or less useless, but we'll see, you know, how deep he decides to go into that Viking production.
You're in too deep.
We do have a drop loaded up and about to hit in the main-ish area, perhaps, if they get past the Stalkers that have Blink already.
Oh, no, he misses.
Why?
Oh, man, finally takes out the Medivacs, but he could have taken one with a few forces in it. Blinks away, losing 2 of his Stalkers. He has killed a couple of forces, and it was good to stop that drop, so it was still a net positive result, but could have been a lot better.
Yeah, he actually had free shots on one more little Stalker laser would have killed off that medevac. It is possible with Stalker shots because they have a travel time to shoot and not hit anything.
Correct.
So he obviously was trying to just switch targets to maximize his DPS, but let that medevac live a little bit longer and thus the units inside actually be able to escape. Do you mind hitting the APM tab? I'm curious just because this guy was, oh my god, that's at over 600 for Darkness, not for the Brood War player, SeoHeyun.
Yeah,
wow.
That's right. Darkness, very high APM player. So TriMaster is apparently watching that game. TriMaster, you go back and you play your MLG matches.
Playoffs?
Playoffs?
TriMaster. What? Why are you in this game? Get out.
I have like all the random press conferences going through my head now. I have the Allen Iverson one as well.
We're talking about practice?
We ain't even talking about a game. We're talking about practice.
Not a game. Not a game.
It's not a game. This is practice. Oh, God. All the ridiculous.
Playoffs.
Dennis Green as well. Anyway, okay, here we go.
They are who we thought they were. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Sports press conferences. Those are things.
Let's see if SeoHeyun lets Darkness off the hook.
Okay. That's supplies are pretty much even up now. We have 3-3 upgrades on the way for SeoHeyun. He's down by just 1 armor upgrade to his opponent right now, and it looks like Darkness wants to make his way in. Pretty good concave for SeoHeyun. Now, unfortunately, the Vikings have not really been touched yet, so they're able to pick away at the Colossi for a very long time, but the charge lots are certainly doing their damage, making their way around the side. No Ghosts were in that army. Even though they are all very low, SeoHeyun is really in kind of a bad spot there, especially with the reinforcements coming in.
Well, that was actually a very cool maneuver that he did just to get these Marauders to where they are now, moving up through that little destructible rock sort of narrow opening, and he actually manages to save some Marauders. Even though they're stemmed up and very, very close to death, they actually saved some Marines and Marauders from that encounter, which I didn't think he was going to get away with anything. There's something happening, maybe just an observer.
That's just an observer.
Okay,
yeah.
So I thought maybe a DT had happened.
No.
I was excited, but it was
DTs.
Not. How dare you, Darkness, get my hopes up like that.
DTs? DT? What are you talking about, DTs?
Templar?
Well, Darkness is going to roll through, and there's not really a lot to stop this. And unfortunately, SeoHeyun's down by 30 supply, so where he was in a pretty good spot before, really bad engagement there, and Darkness taking advantage of it quite well.
He didn't actually finish killing the base. It is actually possible for him to save it, but not if he keeps going on this trajectory.
It needs a mule right about here. There we go.
And he can just go over to the third, but it's so far now.
All right.
I hate to watch just like a burning command center, but really this is the most that's happening on the map right now, so I'm very curious. He should survive. Okay. He went so far off the ledge there. I thought he was just going to send it on its way to die, like starting a funeral pyre and, you know, floating it off into the ocean. But in this case, it would be a command center, not a sentient person that died.
Well, there are probably sentient people inside of us. You never think about the other Terrans that are there, the non-attack Terrans, the support folks.
There might not be any.
You don't think so?
They're building people inside of those things, man.
Yeah.
It's just robots.
I don't know, man.
They're putting together the SCVs. If there's more people in there, why don't they just start mining?
Well, SeoHeyun, he's kind of in a bad way here. He's got to get a great engagement, but he just doesn't have the AoE splash from the ghosts available to him, and everything is just getting destroyed. Pulling SCVs off the line now, and those will buffer almost no damage as the Colossi just rip through them for now.
Oh my god, 2 Colossi have basically 1 hit left. One of them does get picked off by the Viking, but the other one has free shots, and SeoHeyun actually GG's after taking only 1 game.